Gutfoxx here. So, a couple things keep seeming to pop up when I see people talk about MLB The Show 24, and I kind of want to talk about, give my opinion on them here as we move along. Before I go into anything, take a look at some of your live series players, specifically for the Padres or the Reds. They're a little bit high in price. Padres due to Tatis not being in the game, and Reds because they are pretty cheap set, at least for like the low end part, for a pretty decent card right there. So definitely worth looking into with these cards kind of inflated in price. All right, is there too much content at launch right here? That's something I want to talk about right here. And the other one is maybe I should save it for a different video, and I think maybe I will. Actually, let's go for a different video on that one. So, was there too much content at launch? And I think it's an interesting statement, right? Because like at first you're like, what? Too much content? That's impossible. Because at launch, we don't need content to be excited about the game, right? The game just being out new is kind of cool. If they came out on day one, right? In our content was just live series, right? Only live series. And this is something that I've criticized Madden for before, and you know, because it's cool using the actual MLB players, right? If it was just live series and maybe like something else, I think we still would have been hyped. And then like if over the coming, you know, days, weeks, they start filtering it a little bit more, that would have been really cool. Okay, I still think we would have been fine. Obviously, Team Affinity would still want to be in this game. Okay, don't get me wrong. We'll talk about that in a second, Team Affinity. But I think that's not a bad point people are making, right? Because I'd still be excited. Like, my favorite part of the year is using these cards. Is using, like, you know, 83 Adley Rutschman's like, oh my god, an incredible catcher because he switch it, or yes, context and stuff are bad. And like then the downside of that obviously is the collections and how powerful they are. But like, you know, Derek Jeter just like, you know, all over these cards. But anyways, coming out with all these cards right here, because like live series are what you end up pulling from packs. Okay, so if you go to packs right here, buy packs, there are these other packs, but like the ones that you can pull a lot of, right? These bundles. What are the exciting cards? Obviously, Ohtani's really cool out of it, but it's basically live series, Judge, Trout, Ohtani, DeGrom, those kind of things. And so basically what we've seen happen outside of some of these special packs, which you can only buy a limited number of times, and the dynamic duos and stuff, and it's basically useless, right? These packs are awful. There's no more excitement in pulling those cards outside of what you can do for them for collections. And so the fact that you can't, like, you know, pull Mike Trout live series and keep him as like the best center fielder in the game and use him and then hold on to him, and because he keeps his value through the summer due to the collection. Because right now, 99 Mike Trout's out, you can just sell that guy and then just go buy this guy for half the cost or even a third of the cost. Whatever last series, I think he's around 300K right now. And you're like, oh, well, this is endgame Trout. So like my pull is kind of fine. And like those pulls are really rare. So packs outside of collections, live series, they don't really seem to matter this year. And so with that said, which would I have liked? Which would I have kept? I think World Baseball Classic was special. It was something to go to. I think bringing out 99s immediately was a mistake for World Baseball Classic, and especially like a guy that's just insanely good with outliers, with cutters, forkball, sliders. These cards, you know, really insane break on them too. I really think the World Baseball Classic content was a huge L. Is a huge L. Ketel Marte, the fact that a 99 overall second baseman, 60K, switch hitter, insanely good swing, is just wild to me. So WBC, I think, was an L. In my opinion. Obviously, a lot of people are like, oh, it's really cool, you get the free cards. I think, like, what's the point of live series? And I get it, you know, obviously, these cards are super easy to grind for, which is cool for no money spent. But, like, their overall should have been lower. I think, like, there was a big mistake bringing these high cards. The game's hype enough with just the base set because it's a new game. The high overall cards, there is the argument to be said that like the gameplay's better now because the game is factored and coded around 125 instead of coded around base cards, which I think is a good argument for it, right? Now, with that said, with these high overalls, the WBC cards are super easy to get that outclass almost every single card in the game outside of, you know, some other things we'll get to. I think Team Affinity coming day one, major W. I think this should have been here. The fact that these things are an insane grind for cards that are 97 overall once we, you know, get to the end of them, right? The charisma cards. I think this is a W, because these grinds are hard. They're long. Like, we're so used to Team Infinities being done in like a day or a couple hours to exchange some cards and get stuff. So like, if they brought the live series in, they brought live series rewards, you know, World Baseball Classic, a lot of these things that they did go in, but they were low overalls, then we'd look at this grind for a 97 and be like, oh yeah, it's a good idea that it's so long, so hard to do, because like the exchanges give you a combined 17k, which gets you up to right away this pack right here, which is 4 live series packs, a couple of collectibles, some 82s, whatever. It's not that big of a deal. I think then the game, I feel like, would have been done better, because we would realize, wow, these 97s are insane, and we should put in a long grind for them. And so the grind is long, and I think that's an argument to be had right now. 97s right now, when 99s are 60k, is kind of like, oh, that feels like almost, you know, too much of a grind, too much content. People are overwhelmed with what to do, because you're getting 97s out of this program, getting it done kind of decently quick. 95 overalls here. You see it, like, there's 4 95 overalls right here, 97, 97, 97 for a pretty relatively easy grind. And then other 97s are insanely hard. So that's my biggest problem, is the lack of balance between those two grinds and the content. And I think that was done poorly by the SDS team. Let me know what you guys think, of course. And you know, overall, let me know what you think about too much content on the game right away. And that's, I think, a big point that I want to make, is like, it is crazy if you just look at like the number of 99s. And I think some of the 99s being here, World Series rewards, BR rewards. Obviously, I think 99 cards, you know, these are the collection. Those are fine. The Sosa's insane. Yeah, let me know what you guys think. Like, I just think 99 Trout right away, 100k. I pulled them out of pack, luckily. Otani actually bought for 150 right there, but I don't know. It's a little unbalanced, and I think balance is very important in Ultimate Team game modes, as far as what to do over time between the different modes. So that's it for the video. Let me know in the comments. Bye.